Okay. Hello everyone. This will hopefully be a relatively short video. There's actually a lot more to cover in this than I thought. This is going to be a explanation of what I'll call the cutscene weather manipulation exploit in Save the Homeland. It's used in a lot of speedruns of the game, but it's also very easy to set up and easy to execute, so it's very useful for casual play. I've never seen it mentioned online anywhere else outside of a speedrun setting, so I thought I'd share it. I think it could be very useful for casual players. Kind of a cool trick, and I hope you'll find it useful and interesting. So we'll go to our file here. We're here at the beginning of spring. And so as it is a weather manip trick, I'll first look briefly at the weather system of Save the Homeland. If you've played the game before, you probably know each of the seasons is divided into 3 different blocks represented by these colors. Mild is in yellow, rainy is in blue, and dry is in red. And that represents, each of these represents the likelihood of rain in each of these periods. So in the mild season, maybe it's 30% to get rain on each of these days. Not super likely, but the likelihood is there. Maybe we'll call that normal odds. During the rainy season in blue, it is not guaranteed to get rain, but it is pretty likely. Let's say 80 or 90% on each of those days from the 17th to the 21st, right? So that's the rainy season. And then the dry season is unique because it is impossible to get rain on those red days. Here in spring from the 22nd to the 30th, you can only get sun or cloudy weather during the dry season. There is a distinction. I'll get into that in a minute. But so that's the dry season. Now, what's the usefulness of any of this? Well, the dry season in particular is of interest because it's a lot easier to raise animals during the dry season because, like in a lot of Harvest Moon games, if you leave the animals out, as long as it's not raining, they will not get sick and you do not have to feed them. So that saves a lot of time in speedruns because obviously feeding and caring for animals is very tedious. Putting the animals in the barn itself is very tedious. Let's say the animals are outside and it starts raining. You all of a sudden have to put all your animals in the barn and feed them. Very tedious, very time consuming, even in a casual setting. So that's the usefulness of the rainy season. The dry season. But the question is, how can we get through the mild and the rainy season without so much hassle, right? Because normally we'd be putting our animals out, putting them back in, putting them out, putting them in. So that is the crux of this trick. So basically this trick takes advantage of the way the cutscene engine works in this game. Obviously the point of the game is to save the homeland. In practice, that means that you trigger a sequence of cutscenes in series until you trigger the last one and you win the game. Now, some of those cutscenes take place in the town, of course, but some of them takes place on the farm. And the way that the farm cutscenes work is that they trigger when you leave the house in the morning at 6 a.m. So that means that the requirements for them have to be met on the day that you go to sleep. So the day before you walk outside, right? Now, not all of these cutscenes behave this way, but most of them force sunny weather. I'll repeat that. Not just non-rainy weather, but these cutscenes, farm cutscenes, force sunny weather. The reason why sunny weather is useful is because animals, when left outside in the sun, actually gain affection. So we can look at my animals here. This is what I've set up just for purposes of demonstrating this. I've got one cow at 0 affection I've just bought. It's not even matured yet. And I've got one chicken. This one's already at max affection. You can tell because it says maybe you'll produce a golden egg. So a chicken with high affection, I think it's like 220 or something. Max affection for an animal is 250. But high affection, the chicken can then possibly produce a golden egg. So that's one that has already max affection. And then this is one I've just bought that's at 0, right? So as I said, the animals gain affection when they're left in the sun, not in cloudy weather, only in sunny weather, right? And as I said, some of these farm cutscenes force sunny weather, so that's kind of interesting, right? When left outside, they passively gain this affection boost. It's like +1 every hour or something like that. But if you go to sleep, they gain a flat boost, kind of a larger boost. So for cows and the horse, the boost is +6, and for chickens, the boost is actually double that, is +12. So actually gain quite a bit of affection for being left in the sun. So for the purposes of implementing this trick, usually in speedruns, one of the easiest ones to use is, well, hang on, we'll set this up in a minute. One of the easiest ones to use is the first 2 Goddess Dress cutscenes. So one of them is with Gina, the first one's with Gina, the second one's with Katie. And the reason why they're so easy to use and exploit is because they have such low requirements. So for the first cutscene with Gina, she only requires 30 affection. And for the second cutscene, Katie requires 20 affection. So give me just a minute. Damn. There. Okay, so that is a trick. That is definitely a glitch, not just a trick. You're not supposed to be able to do that. I've gotten the chicken off the farm. I have a video on that. This is another glitch. You can use this casually as well if you want. It is a little bit harder to do. And if I put the chicken down, if I set the chicken down outside the farm, the game will crash. So you have to be careful when you're using this trick. But I can use the chicken as a spam on any of the villagers, which means I can just show it repeatedly to them. They'll keep gaining affection. I know exactly how much affection she gains from each of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I've now met her affection requirement. She's at 30. So that means that when I go to sleep, the next day when I walk outside, she'll be waiting for me, right? And it'll be sunny, as I said. So it'll be weather just like it is right now, sunny weather. You can see my animals are outside, my cow's out there, my horses as well, and both my chickens, right? So go to sleep. As you can hear the music playing, that's how you know it's not raining. As far as I am aware at this moment, she's going to be outside waiting for me, right? But what happens if I don't go outside? What happens if I just sleep again? And again. Now, I'm still in the mild season. Any of these days could be rain. They're pretty likely not to be rain, so I could just be getting lucky right now. Oh, no rain. Already the 14th, 15th, 16th. So now you can see I've gotten to the very end of the mild season. I did not get a single day of rain. Could have happened. I could have just got lucky, right? But what happens if I keep sleeping? Now I'm in the rainy season. The odds of getting, 4 rainless days in the rainy season are vanishingly small. So now we see what's really happening here. Gina's waiting outside, and the game is waiting for me to walk outside. So it's permanently sunny at this point, until I walk outside. And then the nice thing, of course, as I just said earlier, my animals are gaining affection as I do this. So the cow has now matured, and it's already producing milk M, right? It would normally start at small milk, milk S, right? So as I continue to do this, I'll eventually get the cow to milk L, and then eventually even to golden milk, right? So the kind of the most immediately obvious application of this glitch is for the cake contest ending. So that's the one where you have to help Katie make a magical cake or something, right? And she requires a golden egg and a golden milk. Now those items, those two items are only produced when the cow and the chicken, respectively, are at high enough affection, but it also has to be a sunny day. But obviously that's so there's a little bit of a random factor to it. But at the very least, you have to meet that affection requirement for the animal. So I think it's like 220, max is 250, as I might have said. So I can just keep doing this. And then eventually, okay, now the cow produces milk L, right? And boom, it's already summer. Still no rain. What day is it here? Okay, it's Friday, that's fine. So, okay, so we'll walk out, and you'll see here, Gina's waiting for us, as I said. As I guessed. Okay, so as I said, that's the first real obvious application, is the getting the golden egg and the golden milk really easily. I mean, either of these now could have golden egg. I think I just said it earlier. I can't remember if it was this take or not, but the chicken's going to get plus 12 for every sleep during this cutscene setup, or basically any sleep when it's sunny outside. And then the horse and the cow are going to get plus 6. So they're a little bit slower to get to max affection, but you can just spam sleep, right? So as I said, the second cutscene that you can take advantage of in this sequence is the second goddess rest cutscene, and that involves Katie. So once the Gina cutscene's been triggered, then you're eligible to trigger the Katie cutscene, which is also a farm cutscene, and she requires 20. So I'll demonstrate that as well. In the meantime, I will say the other big application of this is you can raise a large number of cows to actually make a lot of money. A lot of people might not know this, but hang on. Oh, that was close. Again, if I put the chicken down, it crashes the games. She almost jebaited me there. Hang on. I just don't want to mess this up. Okay, she's gonna walk away, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I know the values that the affection boosts that they get from the chicken, so I know exactly how many times. The main obstacle in setting this up casually is that you need to know exactly how much affection the villager is at, obviously, because you need to make sure that everything's all set up, all your animals are outside so that you're ready to start spamming, because if any of them are left inside, they'll get sick, even if it's sunny. And if for some reason you're below the affection threshold, you missed it, then it's eventually you're going to get rain, because the cutscene's not really there. So you're going to start spamming sleep, and then all of a sudden you're going to get rain, and you screwed up, right? So here, start sleeping again. Sleep, sleep, sleep. As you can see, I mean, it's the mild season right now. I could be getting lucky, but the secret is actually Katie's waiting outside. So now the cow might produce golden milk. I've now basically maxed the cow's affection, right? So yeah, so you need to know exactly how much affection the villagers are at. And that's going to depend on whether it's a fresh file or whether it's a New Game Plus file like this one where I've already completed a year previously. In a fresh file, the goddess is going to do her little questionnaire for you at the beginning where she asks you the 3 questions, like a personality quiz. It'll be in my notes, but there's 3 patterns that you can respond in, and depending on how you respond, whether you respond to all of her questions positively, all negatively, or a pattern, or a mixture of the two, is gonna give different villagers a certain boost right at the beginning of the game. Katie and Gina, fortunately, are actually in the same category, so they both get plus 15 if you answer those questions all negatively. So if you answer the second option to all 3 of the goddess's questions, Katie and Gina will both get plus 15. If you answer in any other way, if either all positive or a mixture, then they're going to start at 0, just like they would normally. And then if you've already completed a year and you're just kind of starting on a pre-saved file, and there is no goddess questions because the goddess questions only happen on a fresh file, then they'll start at 0. So I'll have some notes in the description that's going to include all of the introduction boosts for the villagers, as well as the kind of the boost from the most common gifts, which is like the berries, the flowers, whatever. Long story short, they're pretty much all plus 4. Berries are plus 4, flowers are plus 4 for both of these villagers. There's a couple other cutscenes you can use for this. Not all of the farm cutscenes force sunny weather. So you have to be careful. But if you're just going to do this in a casual setting, I would recommend just using Katie and Gina, because these are just, you can use them every single year, because every time the game, every time you complete a year, whether you get the bad ending or whether you complete one of the endings, all the affection resets. So you can literally just, every year you want to do this, just do it, you know? It's especially good early game because you can use it to, excuse me, you can use it to do the cake contest ending very easily. But I'll show you another interesting little tidbit that I found out kind of later on. So you buy cows for 2,500 G normally, 2,500. And when you buy them, they're not matured. I think you keep them for like 7 days, and then then they're matured. And then once they're matured, you can actually sell them for 3,000. Okay, so you make a little bit of profit. Oh wait, hang on. Okay, oopsie. I just got a package at the door. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, okay, so you sell them for 3,000. So you buy them for 25. Once they're matured, you can sell them for 3,000. So okay, it's a little bit of profit. Let's say that's, okay, 500 G profit. Really not much, not really worth it, right? It's not like you can make some, you know, not like you can run some kind of cow scheme and make a lot of money, right? However, if the cow, I think it's like 220. It's not max affection, but it's like almost max affection. If you get the cow to that point, to that affection level, you can actually sell it for 5,000. So I've only done this with one cow here, but imagine if you had 2, 3, 4, 5 cows. You could actually put them all out to pasture at the same time. Now, it would obviously cost a lot of money to kind of buy all of those up front, but you can at least buy one, you know, raise this affection with this exploit, sell it. Now all of a sudden you've got 5 grand. Now you can buy 2 cows. Now you can put both of those out to pasture. And then, so let's say you use Gina for the first cow, use her cutscene, right? Then you've got, now you can sell that cow for 5 grand. Now you can buy 2 cows. Now you can use Katie's cutscene to then raise both of those cows' affection. Now you've got 2 cows, right? Maxed affection. Now you can sell both of those cows for 5 grand each. Now you've got 10 grand. So you can see now I can sell this. I've just sold that for 5 grand. Anyway, so that is an interesting application as well of the glitch that you can use, of the exploit. I'm sorry, I wouldn't really call it a glitch. So that's an interesting application as well that you can use to make a lot of money pretty quickly. So again, you do need to know those values though. And an interesting tidbit I will point out, this might seem like unintended behavior, but I was actually reading through one of the guides, one of the Japanese guidebooks for this game, and they actually mention it just in a little like info box in one of the pages, one of the parts of the guide. They say, oh, if you're gonna have a event tomorrow or something, then you won't get rain or something like that, right? Which again is a little bit misleading because not all the farm cutscenes work that way, but most of them do. So anyway, if you have any questions, I feel like this was a bit of a whirlwind, but if you have any questions, feel free to post in the comments and join the Discord, whatever. But thanks everybody.